Have you ever had that moment where you're talking to a potential client and you can feel the script running in the back of your mind? The one that you were told would close the sale, but something in your gut is telling you this doesn't feel right. You can feel the pressure creeping in. You can hear yourself trying to hit the right points, but deep down, you know the energy is off. What if I told you that you don't need to convince, push, or do endless follow-up for someone to say yes? In fact, the most aligned, abundant clients you'll ever have will never need to be persuaded or closed. They will come towards you because they feel safe, they feel seen, and they feel understood. And that doesn't happen through tactics, it happens through truth. And this is the world of sacred sales. Selling in a way that honors your integrity, magnetizes the right people, and creates transformation before money ever changes hands. And here's the real difference. A purpose-driven millionaire doesn't just want to close a deal. They want to create a legacy. They know sales are not about extracting a yes from someone, but it's about holding space for them to find their yes. So today, we're going to go deep into what sacred sales actually look like in real life, why they work better than the push and pitch methods most of us have been taught, and how to create messaging that converts with integrity. Welcome back. You are listening to Series 1, The Foundation of Spiritual Wealth and Aligned Business. This series is all about building a purpose-driven business from the inside out that leads with energy, clarity, and is supported by sustainable systems. Each episode bridges strategy and spirituality so you can activate deeper wealth, greater impact, and unshakable integrity. So today we're talking about sacred sales, the kind that isn't pushy, salesy, or sleazy. Sacred sales are derived from truth. They are connection. They honor both you and your client, and they move from energy, not just money. So when you sell in a sacred way, you're not manipulating someone into a yes. You are holding space for them to find their own yes, and you're not convincing. You're not checking in with them multiple times because your ideal client is intelligent and they will read your energy before you even speak. So sacred sales, it's all about connection, frequency to frequency, soul to soul. Your right fit client doesn't need to be sold to in the traditional sense. They need to be seen, and I mean really seen. And when they feel seen, they move towards you naturally. This isn't just a more honorable way to sell. It's actually more effective because alignment moves faster than manipulation ever will. So here's the shift I want to offer you today. Sacred sales are not about getting someone to say yes. They're about creating a safe space for them to find their yes. This means we do not use pressure, fear, or false urgency to get someone to buy. If a person says yes from fear or lack, that's not a sacred exchange. That is a transaction built on insecurity. And that is not the vibration we are building our legacy from. A purpose-driven millionaire approaches sales differently. For them, sales do not begin with strategy. They begin with service, with presence, and with truth. They are built on the understanding that your aligned offer is an act of love and an invitation into transformation. Inside my Everything is Energy membership, there is a real estate agent that shared something with me recently. She said she feels weighed down by traditional real estate sales tactics, the scripts, the pressure, the expectation to push people into decisions. And she told me, I love checking in with my clients because I care, but it always feels like I'm expected to have a strategy or some agenda behind it. I just want to connect for real, she says. And what really struck me is how she approaches home sales. Most agents would tell clients to paint their walls a neutral white to make the house easier to sell, but not her. She refuses to do that. If the homeowner loves their bright teal accent wall or their bold orange kitchen, she tells them to keep it. She reassures them that the right buyer will love it too. And this is sacred sales in action. She is letting resonance lead, not fear. She is trusting that that perfect buyer is already out there, someone who will see the space and feel right at home. And guess what? She is highly successful and her houses still sell. In fact, they often sell faster because buyers can sense the authenticity. She is selling from connection, not conformity. And this right here is the bridge to our next story. Because whether you are selling a home or selling a service, the same question applies. What happens when an opportunity asks you to compromise your truth in order to make a sale? A few years ago, I knew a graphic designer who had an opportunity to land a large corporate contract. On paper, it was perfect. It would have been her biggest payday to date. But something in her gut said no. The corporation wanted her to strip her designs of anything too expressive or too emotional. They wanted her to mute the colors and tone down the messaging. The brand would have looked clean and safe, but it would no longer carry the soul that made her work magnetic. So she had a choice: take the contract and the money or walk away in favor of alignment. She chose to walk away. When I asked her how she felt afterward, she told me she had never been more confident. Because the truth is, every sale you make from misalignment downgrades your frequency. And every sale you make out of integrity up levels it. And just 3 months later, she signed a big project offered by a municipality who paid her more than the corporate offer. And they let her design with her full creative voice. Now, her story is a powerful reminder that turning down the wrong sale creates space for the right one to show up. And when you lead with integrity, people come to you without ever having to close them, which brings us to our final example. There is a Reiki master I know who works in the wellness space. Now, she decided to host a free workshop. No pitch, no bonus if you buy now, no forced upsell at the end. She just simply showed up to serve. And she taught, she answered questions, she did some readings, and she connected deeply with everyone who attended. And here's the incredible part. At the end of the workshop, 3 people reached out to her privately and asked how they could work with her. She didn't ask for the sale, but her energy invited it. She was grounded in service and she was present. And her integrity did the selling for her. And this is the core of sacred sales. You're not creating pressure. You are creating possibility. You're not trying to close people. You're inviting them to step into the transformation that they are already seeking. So as a purpose-driven millionaire, they don't see sales as being separate from service. They know that selling with integrity is an extension of the work that they are here to do. They emanate resonance and they sell from clarity. They do not talk at people. They listen and they pay attention to their energy. And then once they received a better understanding, then they speak with words that come from their truth and from the truth of the potential client. They also know that their ideal clients are already seeking them, that these clients are already in their field. They're not trying to convince people who are not ready or willing. They are speaking directly to those who are committed, moving, and ready now. This is where the real work begins, shifting your focus from chasing anyone who will say yes to intentionally calling in the ones who are truly meant to be with you. And that starts with knowing exactly who those people are, not in theory, but in detail. More than studying success, you need to study your ideal client. You need to read into their energy. And so ask yourself, who are you attracting right now? Are they aligned with your energy and your offer? On a scale of 1 to 10, how close are they to being your true ideal client? What's missing? What is the gap? Your ideal client is a specific person in a specific situation, and they're ready to make a real change now. They are already moving, they are committed, and they already have capacity, including financially, to invest. When you know exactly who that person is, you can energize your words so they land directly in their heart. That's where the real magic of sales happens, not in the offer itself, but in how you communicate it. Because the truth is, you can have the most transformative service in the world, but if your message doesn't speak to the right person in the right way, it will never reach them. Magnetic messaging is what bridges that gap. And often we fall into the trap of using summary terms like confidence, freedom, integrity, alignment, or leadership in our marketing. But without context, those words are vague and they float around. They do not land in your client's lived experience. Your audience doesn't just want confidence, they want to know why it matters to them right now in their current situation. So instead of saying, I help women become more confident, you could say, I help women trust their voice again so they can stop people pleasing and start leading conversations with power and clarity. Instead of saying, I help entrepreneurs find freedom in their business, you could say, I help entrepreneurs design their business so they can take Fridays off without losing income and spend more time with their family. Instead of saying, I help people align with their true self, you could say, I help business owners trust themselves in every decision so they can grow their business with ease, energy, and zero burnout. Do you see the difference? Can you hear the difference? Can you feel the difference? The first version in each example is conceptual. It might sound nice, but it doesn't connect to the urgency of your client's lived reality. And the second version, it's tangible. It paints a picture of the change that they will feel in their body, see in their real life, and experience every single day. This is what makes your messaging magnetic. It's not about the big idea or the fancy words you use. It's about the real life experience your client will have because of it. Magnetic messaging speaks to what your client truly wants in the language that they're already using to describe their struggles, their dreams, and their if only moments, not just what you think they should want. So before we close, I want to invite you into a moment of reflection. This is about awareness, the kind of awareness that shifts how you show up, how you speak, and how you sell. And I want you to ask yourself, where in your sales process are you relying on tactics instead of trust? How can you create more safety for your clients to say yes or no? How can you create more safety with your clients to say yes or no without pressure? What part of your current messaging is about what you want for your clients rather than what they actually desire? Sit with these questions. Let them move through you without rushing to find an answer with your mind. Sometimes the most profound sales breakthroughs come when you simply sit still and listen. And as we close this episode, I want you to remember you have full permission to sell in a way that is true for you. You do not have to sell like others in your industry. You do not have to sell like others in your niche. You do not have to follow the latest trends or formulas or blueprints. You are not just running a business. You are creating a movement. You are inviting people into transformation. And that invitation deserves to be offered with love, clarity, and sacredness. So if you want support with your offers, messaging, and frequency, you are welcome inside my membership. Everything is energy. And if you're ready to go deeper, you can apply for one-on-one coaching at conniegrant.com. So I want to thank you for being here, and I want to thank you for leading with your heart. Until next time, sell with soul, lead from overflow, and let your words become a transmission.